Hi everybody, let's get cutting. So today I'm going to talk a little bit first about things that you can add to this kit to get rid of some more of your stash. So watch that, and then that's going to lead into a special paper in here that you're going to have to cut a special way. And then I'm going to zip through the cutting. So there, it's going to be speeded up a little bit. But then about halfway through the first cutting, there I will cut the middle of the specialty paper that that would be the sapphire paper. And just kind of show you what I did to cut out the middle of that. And then it'll speed through again, some more cutting, and then I'll do the thin cuts for you, the organizing of them, and then stamping them and decorating. Okay, if we really want to get rid of some of our stash, then we need to add some things to this too. So what you need to do, and I want it all to be from your stash, right, is to look and see, first of all, what colors you have in this paper pack. So there's lots of different things that you probably have purchased over the years from Close to My Heart or from other places too, that you can add to this pack. So one of the things first things I start with is my shimmer trim and glitter paper. So I look at the colors that are on the zip strip and think, okay, do I have shimmer trim or glitter paper in any of these colors? Then I think, do I have mix-ins from old paper packs in any of these colors? And I'm going to bring those out. Then you think about your tools, like your shimmer brushes. You know, do you have shimmer brushes in any of these colors, right? Okay, and then I'm going to look at my embellishments that I've got here. So do I have other embellishments in these pinks and this white and any other colors on here that I could bring in, you know, or old stickers that might fit with these colors? Those are the kind of things you want to start to look for. Then in this embellishment pack here, I'm going to look and see, well, okay, let me think. In any of my old stuff, do I have this wood grain type of look? And then I think there's black on the back here. Do I have anything that will go with this? Because, you know, you've got those little bits or actually this is blue. So you got those little bits and bobs, right, from old packs, and you just, you know, you didn't want to throw them away because you spent money on them, right? So if you had anything old in these colors that maybe match this wood grain or be something similar, you could pull those out, right? You also want to look at your stamp set and think, okay, what can I do to enhance these stamps? Once I'm doing them, would these go good with liquid glass? Would these go good with some stickles, with some liquid pearls? And just gather some of your stuff that you want to use up, right? That's the whole point on this exercise that we're going to do for the next month or so, is to try to pull in some of these things that we haven't been using and we bought, we purchased, we want them to be used up, right? So we can buy new stuff. So I would take a few minutes before you start this flower shop with me and bring in some of your old stuff and see if you can use it while we're putting this together. Okay, I have gathered some of the things that I think I might need, not that I'm going to use all of these or anything. Now for sure I'm going to need these inks because they're listed. But then I found a raspberry shimmer brush and an avocado shimmer brush. I found some pine shimmer trim, gold shimmer trim, and then I found that I had this package of white and black dots. I won't be using the black, but here's a whole bunch of white ones, you know, that I can use up. And then I went and got all the colors in cardstock that were listed on this piece. So that just in case I want to do some framing or need to add some cardstock in there to, you know, behind mats. Sometimes they don't make mats and stuff like that. I would have it out here. So I'm ready to go. So I'm going to do the cutting now, and I'm going to speed it up because obviously that's not interesting to watch. But we'll get going. Oh, and I forgot, I have a whole package of Irresistibles that I want to use up. These are awesome. If you haven't seen them yet, because you color them in. So I could pull out any of those ink colors that are going with this and just rub them across these and make some really cool pattern paper too. So we'll see. Before we get started on the cutting, there will be a point when you get to the sapphire where you're gonna have to cut a frame out of the paper. So I'm gonna just show you how to do this. The frame is gonna be 10.5 inches square out of the middle of the paper so that your outside paper will be, let me show you. It'll look like this. So that's what we're looking for. And to do that, you have to cut 3/4 of an inch off each side, but inside of the paper. So what you do is put your paper on the trimmer, and you're gonna look on your marks on your trimmer, and hopefully you've got a good trimmer, and you're gonna go up to the 3/4 mark. So you're not cutting all the way to the edge. You're starting in 3/4 of an inch, and we're gonna go down to 11.25 basically. So yeah, that's right. So it'll be 3/4 of an inch away from this side. So we're going 3/4 of an inch in that you're putting your paper. You're going to start at the 3/4 inch mark, go all the way down until you're 3/4 of an inch away from the edge of the paper, which on mine is 11.25 inches. Take it out, turn it, go 3/4 of an inch in again, hold that paper down tight, go up on your measuring and go 3/4 of an inch in, all the way down to 11.25 or 3/4 of an inch from the edge. And then we're gonna just keep doing this 2 more times. Now, you may not cut all the way through to touch the other cut line. We can fix that at the end. So line it up 3/4 an inch, go down to 11.25, turn it and go in 3/4 of an inch, hold it steady, start up here at 3/4. Oop, I need to lift mine like a little bit. There we go, and go down to an 11.25. All right, now take your paper out, grab your scissors in case you didn't quite cut all the way through, which is good actually, because we don't want to cut into the outside frame. So just snip off any spot just to make those two corners meet, or to make that corner meet, I should say. And it shouldn't be more than like a 1/32 of an inch that you have to cut off. Just did this pretty close. And that's it. So I won't show you the inside. That'll be in the cutting later, but that's how you do it. So on one of the sapphires, you'll also cut in this, but this is the frame for the second one. Okay. Oh, also, before I start the cutting, I will do the die cuts at the end, so you'll see me skip over that paper. Okay, so after you cut the frames of your sapphire cardstock, you are gonna need to cut the middle of one of those, and it's 8.5 by 8.5, and then you'll have a little bit of scrap left for this last tiny piece, and then we'll move on with the rest of our cutting. So you need a 3/4 by 6. This is after you've already cut your frame. And then we'll move on. Okay. Now, before you start doing the thin cuts, I think it's a really good idea to do what I've done here, because there are so many of these that look the same. So I just lined them right up on the stamps. So now I'll be able to look at this guide and know how many to make of each one, and I will get it accurate, because just looking at the thin cuts alone is kind of difficult. Okay, I decided not to actually cut the die cuts on screen, because every time I did, it just was jiggling the camera all over. So you know how to cut them. And so now we're gonna do our stamping. So what I've done is I'm grouping these by colors so that it's just a little bit easier. So we're gonna start with the raspberry, and we're gonna cut stamp 2 of flower 1 in raspberry ink. Season this. And then, still bumps the camera, huh? All right, now we want to line this up well. So I'm going to look for the right side. And this has got a lot of surface to it, which means lots of ink, lots of pressure, and hold it down extra long. So really, when it's got so much of stamping surface, let's call it, you definitely want lots of ink, lots of pressure to get it like that. Looks nice. Now that would look really good with a little raspberry shimmer brush. So I am probably going to do a little bit of that on there. We'll see. I may experiment with it. Sometimes the colors are a little too dark. So I will check and experiment with it and see if I like it. Or it also, because this one covers so much space, I may not want to use the shimmer brush on it. So we'll see. Okay, there we go. 2 of those. And then the other one also in raspberry. Oop, I forgot to season it. Shoot. All right, second way to season is to stamp it off several times on some scrap paper. So that's another way to do it. That way I don't have to go clean it. Okay. All right, let's find the right spot on this. So I'm just gonna look. I see this flat side is gonna go there. Yeah, so match it up with your flower. So these flowers remind me that I get to go plant shopping today. I found the coolest plant that actually spirals around the center. So all the leaves somehow curve, and then so they swirl like a tornado or something. Really cool. And so I thought I might run on over to, that's in Glen Ellen, Illinois. And there's a plant store there, a beautiful plant store, and see if they have more of that one because I love it. I'm already having issues with it though because I think I didn't have it close enough to the sun. It's really hard because you only have so much space by your windows, you know? And I hope you guys can see these okay. And so there's only limited suns. I've got a couple of little plant lights, but not enough. So I have moved it closer to the sun to see if that'll help because I noticed some of the leaves were yellowing. But I want another one. That'll also help me compare and see if it's me. Okay, those ones are done. Let's move on to the next color. Okay, Capri ink is next, and it's on the 3 remaining flower ones. And so Capri. And I was able to get my little chamois from my house. So I actually can clean my stamps now. All right, let's get this going. Line it up. This looks like it's not got a ton of ink on it, so it's all right. I'm gonna put a little bit more next time. Always make extras if you think you're gonna make mistakes or if you're a perfectionist. That one looks better. And one more, and then we're gonna move on. Well, actually it says to decorate. Color in the center dots using a navy Le Pen, and I may have brought my Le Pens, but they might still be packed because I brought a bunch of stuff this weekend and I think those are in my marker bin right now. So I just happen to have a kind of a navy color Copic marker here, so I'm gonna grab that. And they want these little dots colored. So let's think about that for a minute, because another option to coloring those would be to put little bitty sparkles on those and use up some of your bitty sparkles. I don't have any bitty sparkles with me, so I'm gonna do the dots this time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My marker is dry. Shoot. I got another blue here I use, but I'm gonna have to get a re-inker. All right, so I'm gonna just color in those little dots. So bitty sparkles would be perfect for this. Another thing would be using up your stickles, your liquid pearls. And I may add those at the end. We'll see. I have to, I know I have some stickles. Not sure if I brought my liquid pearls yet. Liquid pearls would be awesome on this. So I'll go through my stickles because I didn't take those out. Do I have some? Maybe I don't even have those. I might have not even brought those yet. I'll have to look around. but that would be an option. I know I do have platinum stickles, which wouldn't be bad. But for now, I'm just going to use the navy pen for all of those. All right, our next color is going to be Flamingo. All right, next up is Flamingo. We got a lot of flowers to stamp with this. We're going to start with the flower, what is that? Flower 2. I'm going to get the ink off of off the sponge. So it's out of camera, but it'll be a little easier that way. Oops, wait, did I get right flower? Let me check. Is that the right one? Yes, okay, so, oops. Gotta make sure I'm putting it on right. Okay, there we go. Line it up carefully, because these are supposed to fit just right. So now I'm gonna turn these to be the same direction here. A little bit more ink on this one. Just like that. Press a little harder, wait a little longer. Much better. And one more of those. Like that. Those are all Flamingo. All right, next is going to be flower. This is flower 2. And I've got, oops, that's the wrong one. Here, flower 2. I gotta line that up. And this needs to be seasoned first. All right. Get that in there, press hard. And one more. And then we're gonna do flower 5, kind of the daisy one. And that needs to be seasoned. I think I had it lined up, but now I feel like I don't, so let me reline that. Okay. Lots of ink. And line it up correctly. And that's done. And then the last one is flower. Let me move these up so you guys can see. And this is flower 4. And I think I've got these lined up right. I hope. But I didn't season it. So, again, stamp several times. That'll season it. I feel like this first one's not lined up, but I guess it is. All right, that one. This is a little trickier to line up. Because the sides are extremely similar. But if it's slightly off, it won't matter too much. Okay. And those are all our flamingos. Let's see if we're gonna have any other. Okay. Flower, I might have to do some dots again. So flower 3 does need some navy dots too. So let me grab those. And that's in both the raspberry and the flamingo. So let's do some navy dots on them. It's gonna take a little longer because there's several. This would be really cute with stickles. So I may do about half of these. I think I'm gonna do 2 of the raspberry ones in navy and 2 of them with my platinum stickles that I found, which I think is the only stickles I have right now here. So I'm gonna do 2 of those that, and I'm gonna set these aside and do 2 in stickles, and then let me do these. Yep. And I think on something it said, oh yeah, flower 4, it's got I think we'll do one more in the blue. Flower 4 needs a white opal liquid pearl. I do not have that, so I will use stickles when we get to that flower. So for now, I'm gonna set these ones aside that I did in blue, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do stickles. Now, you know, of course, these will have to dry. So let me just do these. Just squeeze slightly until you're getting like the little size you want, and then lift, and then do it again. With the liquid pearls, which I don't have here, it's a little tougher. But stickles, I don't think you really can make a mistake. Even if you get a little too globby, I think it still turns out pretty good. I'm gonna set that to dry. But liquid pearls, they're kind of supposed to look like pearls, you know, when they dry. And so it's tough because you gotta kind of put just the right amount of them. And then you have to, you know, lift almost completely straight up, so then the top kind of settles in smoothly, looking like a pearl. They're tough, but they are worth it when you do it right. So it's just a matter of practicing, I'm sure. Okay, I got these ones a little bit thicker than the others. And set that aside. And then it says flower 4. We did in flamingo and that, and they want a dot at the center of each one of those, and that's this one. Is that right? Correct? No, flower 4 is this one. Is that right? Yep. No, this is flower 4. This is flower 4. Sorry. The one that has just one spot to put your dots. And let me see, flower, that's flower 2, did that need anything? Yeah, oh, I guess it does too. So even flower 2 will have a dot of this in the center. So I'm gonna do a bigger dot because there's a bigger space there to cover, and that'll just be cool. It'd be a nice contrast to the small dots. So set those aside, let them dry at least an hour. You don't want them to crumple when you start doing this. Let me see if I can lift these off. I'm afraid if I keep using my hand there that they're going to flip over. Now once you have gotten all of these die cuts together, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go, I'm sure you made a pile for each one of your layouts as you were cutting everything, right? So now you're gonna look in at the directions and see what the base pages are, add those to the pile, and then go through all of these thin cuts and add those to each pile, so that when you get started, you've got everything that you need for each page ready to go, except for stickers and the pink and white embellishments and any other and the wood ones, any other embellishments we have. So, and you actually could even do that. And I think that's what I do too. So you could go through this package, look at your pictures, and put those in each stack of each layout. And same with this wood and the navy colored die cuts there. Go ahead and put those, and that way, you know, the more that you can get together ahead of time, the less you're gonna be, you know, looking around for things. You can add your photos into the pile. You can add your photo placeholders if you don't have your photos with you. And if you're gonna add something special to them, shimmer trim, that kind of stuff, just put it in the pile, the right pile, and then it's gonna be so much easier when we get going next after all of this. Okay, so flower 5, they also want you to put a little dot of color in there with your liquid pearl opal white if you have it, but I don't. All right. Okay, leaves. Let's get those done. And I've got those all right here. They're all gonna be in avocado. Avocado. And I'm just gonna throw these stamps off for now. Let's start with leaf number 1. Season it. And it says leaf number 1, you need 2 stamped in avocado ink. Get that inked up well. And there you go. Very simple. And then leaf 2 will be next. Also going to be an avocado ink. So I'll whip this baby off. All right, and leaf 2, you're going to be making 3 of these. See if I got the right side, the curved sides on the top. And put that there. And 2. And 3. Okay. And then, oops, how did I, oh, there we go. Okay. And then leaf 3, you should have 3 of those. And that's the real pretty one. I'm just going to season that. And probably have to turn it that way. Lots of ink. And just line it up. And you guys know how to stamp. And one more. I didn't stamp that one as well. All right, here we go. But as you know, the leaves probably mostly go under the flowers anyway. Okay, we are good for that one. If you haven't already done your zip strips, you will need a couple of those. So pay attention to that. And next, we're gonna put all of this together.